Can Trump run again in 2028? The answer is no. But as a fun little exercise, we're going to talk about all the ways he still could end up as president in 2028. Let's get something straight. The 22nd Amendment says no person can be elected president more than twice. Trump won in 2016 and then again in 2024, absolutely destroying Kamala Harris. So technically, that's it. 2 terms, game over. But here's where it gets interesting. Recently, Steve Bannon sat down with Chris Cuomo on News Nation, and he made a bold claim. He said Trump could absolutely serve a 3rd term, not because the Constitution allows it, but because the country might demand it.
My first question, you have anything to do with putting your name in that list because you have presidential ambitions?
No. And President Trump, I'm a firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028. So I've already endorsed President Trump. A man like this comes along once every century if we're lucky. We've got him now. He's on fire, and I'm a huge supporter. Want to see him again in 2028.
And obviously, anybody who doesn't like what you say but judges it as a function of a lack of intelligence doesn't know anything about you. I don't make that mistake. You're a smart guy. You know he's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it. I think we'll have a couple of alternatives. Let's say that. We'll see. We'll see what the definition. We'll see what the definition of term limit is.
Now, let's add some fuel to the fire. While I was at work today, I came up with 3 scenarios in which Trump could ascend to the presidency in 2028. Here they are. Option 1, Trump finishes his 2nd term but declares a national emergency, says we're in crisis, and argues that the 22nd Amendment doesn't apply under extraordinary circumstances. That would instantly trigger a constitutional showdown. Would the court step in? Would the military? Would the states comply? It's chaotic, controversial, and somehow not the craziest idea on this list. Option 2. After completing his 2nd term in January 2029, Donald Trump could be elected Speaker of the House, a position that does not require the individual to be a sitting member of Congress. So let's say 2 Trump loyalists run as president and VP, and they win, and then they decide to resign. The Speaker of the House would ascend to the presidency, and boom, Trump 2028, baby. This sequence is actually outlined in the Presidential Succession Act. Is this likely? Hell no. Possible? In America, anything is possible. Option 3. A bunch of states decide to challenge the 22nd Amendment itself. Some legal scholars believe that if enough states refuse to enforce it, it could trigger a major Supreme Court battle. Unlikely? Sure. But impossible? Not with the current court stacked in the GOP's favor. You see what I mean? And then there's the historical angle. FDR served 4 terms, but that was before the 22nd Amendment. So what if Trump wants to push the limits even further? A 3-time president. It's never been done under today's rules, but there's no rule saying that he can't try. And finally, let's talk about what Trump himself said.
Do you view Vice President JD Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but he's very capable. I mean, I don't think that I think you have a lot of very capable people. So far, I think he's doing a fantastic job. It's too early. We're just starting.
But by the time you get to the midterms, he's going to be looking for an endorsement.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that this has been the greatest opening, almost 3 weeks, in the history of the presidency.
It's definitely been the fastest and the most stuff happening.
We've done so much.
Yeah, that's actually huge, because if Trump really saw 2028 as the end of the road, wouldn't he be grooming someone right now? Instead, he's leaving the door wide open, and that silence says a lot. So let's recap. The law says Trump cannot be elected again, but there are loopholes. There are strategies, there's momentum, and most of all, there's Trump.